Hey guys, I'm Buddy Messer. This is what is your name?
Scott Cologne.
And what is your name?
And my name's Chris Ferguson.
All
And
right.
here we are on episode 4 with Buddy Messer, and we're going to break down Broadway and a lot more topics. And I've known Buddy since 1983, which seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're just going to get through the story, and Scott's got some history with him. We're going to break down with Buddy and see, let's hear about old Nashville and so forth. But great to have you on here, buddy.
Glad to be here, man. Good to see you. I'm glad you finally grew up.
Yeah. Well, I ain't grown up yet. I thought I was gonna be like you. You've been a mentor. I was gonna be young all my life like you are.
My ex-wife, you said, Buddy, when are you going to grow up? I said, never.
That's right.
You still haven't.
Haven't, no.
I just checked in with my baby girl a while ago, right before we walked in here, and I said, "Baby, is this the weekend?" Because her longtime boyfriend, which I like, has asked for my blessing, and I'm thinking this may be the weekend. I got a daddy hunch about it. She goes, I don't know. And I said, well, let me know if he does, because I'm going to drink even more tequila this weekend. She goes, well, Daddy, when are you going to grow up? I'm like, I'm not.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Life's short, right?
Too short. So,
Right.
yeah.
But let's just kind of, I guess, talk us through, buddy, like how you got started, or, you grew up here in Nashville. You're one of the East Nashville guys that are still around, and so let's just have a little bit of maybe that history, and then we'll get into like how you and Scott came together.
I grew up and went to East High School, and I ran track over at East High School, and we used to run downtown. We ran cross country. We'd run downtown, run all through Broadway, Church Street, and everything. And back then, people wore suit and ties, and the ladies wore hats. That's the way they went to work every day.
Right.
But you just see how things have developed. And even when people flew on an airplane back then, they wore a suit and tie. They wear pajamas now, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how long I've been around. And where we own Whiskey Bent is right now, it used to be all furniture stores right there. Our building was built in 1910. And the guy that built that building was one of the longest running mayors of Nashville. And after that, it was always a furniture store. What matter of fact, in the 60s, my dad managed Dodge Furniture, which was in that building. It was that whole block. It was where it started right there where Blake Shelton's is, and what Boot Country is now. Then it's Whiskey Bent's, Miranda Lambert's, and it's the candy store. Then there's the little alley, but that was all Dodge Furniture.
Isn't that crazy?
And we went through that building one day going through some stuff, and there was some old Dodge Furniture ledgers in there. It went back to the 40s, 50s, and 60s where people had bought furniture, $30 for this, payment $20 for that. But anyway, that's how far I go back. But what got me into this business is that I started out of the trunk of my car selling selling trinkets and trash. If you ever been a kid, you ever bought a little shut-up toy in a grocery store? Mom, I want this little toy. I want this little toy. And we called them shut-up toys. Why'd you call them shut-up toys? She bought them to shut us up, shut you guys up. So that's what I got started on, and it's what it developed on. It went from shut-up toys to baseball caps to sunglasses to T-shirts, anything you've seen in a convenience store. A lot in the Southeast. A lot of times I sold it to them.
Were you back then? Because obviously I was a little kid, but I remember all of our connection from the ballpark, and then later on, my dad and you working closely together. Back then, when you were doing that out of your trunk, were you independent, or weren't you working? Were you working for a company?
No, that's me.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought you were just hustling hustling.
Yeah, I worked for another company that I went into all these stores, and I need to get in business for myself. I need to do something on my own.
I get that.
And all those little toy racks were empty everywhere I went. So there you go. There's me a shot right there. I got me some of those little packages and wrote those companies, and they sent me letters and told me who to buy from and all that, and started going to trade shows.
That's something in itself right there if you think about it. Like, you literally had to look on the back of the little hang tag to find out. You didn't just go on the internet and go like, I need 100 of those.
No. You wrote them
you had to actually work to get
you wrote them a letter.
Yeah,
and then
that's pretty neat.
You know what a manufacturer's rep is?
Yes,
They
absolutely.
would send you a manufacturer's rep to see you. And I think me and this guy by the name of Don Davis, I think we pooled $1,000 a piece in on it and bought $2,000 worth of shut up toys and started with nothing.
That's wild.
Then just developed that into 200 accounts, 300 accounts. And later on, it got to where the mom and pops were getting bought out. And we thought, we need to grow. We need to get these big chains. So when we were the chain of stores, were throwed us all over Atlanta, North Carolina.
What was the chain?
Oh, it was called Tentacle Oil.
Okay.
They had a few around here in Nashville.
Was that the Mapco
stores?
stores?
It was like a Mapco, but
I was just trying to relate it to like.
It was related to a
old,
Mapco store.
Yeah, I was trying to relate it to like, I remember my grandpa, God rest his soul, would load me up and we would go hit all those Stuckey stores and all that up and down.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking you. I was trying
that's
to relate
kind of
it to
accounts I called on. Then from that, I don't seem like it just. Oh, I know what happened when you put all your eggs in one basket, you're gonna lose them sometimes. And Tenneco got sold out, so we lost that account.
Ooh.
So we had nobody to sell to. So then, me and Terry Clone was big buddies, and Terry, bless his heart, gave me a job.
Is that how? See,
That's
I don't think I ever knew that.
Yeah,
That's cool that I'm just now. I was like thinking because I always knew you as a hustler, which I respected and still do for that matter. But I was like, why did you and my dad start working together? So you'd lost that big account and you needed something, and y'all.
And I'd gotten a divorce too, so.
Man, and you two guys together could sell ice to the Eskimos, man.
Yeah.
That would have been.
Yeah.
It still can, I'm
so
sure.
So just timeline wise, when I moved in that neighborhood, you were working for yourself.
Yeah.
And then when you and Brenda split up, then you went to work for Terry.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Year
or 2 years, I can't remember.
So that's interesting because I remember like me and Timmy doing some stuff. I remember Timmy working for you at that little what being Old Hickory now.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
You had a little warehouse
you
were doing some
cleaning
stuff
up sunglasses and
just
whatever.
Trying to make a living, right?
I mean,
just hustling.
Yep.
Trying to make a living. So
but
pretty interesting.
Very I mean, he is part of my my life. 'Cause I remember him being, him and me and Brian and Timmy used to spend lots of, weekends and stuff together, not just balling, just us all. We would all be hanging out, him and Brenda and the whole families. But I never heard that story. How'd y'all ever? And I never thought to ask my dad what because I always knew you had it going on. I'm like, why did? And I know my dad didn't pay you a bunch of money come work with him because he don't pay nobody a lot of money.
Commission. $150 a week.
Yeah. Man, it's funny, not steal your thunder talking about commission. As we were talking the other day and was butting heads, or my brother was butting heads with somebody in our office, and me and my brother are owners, right? And so this certain someone was like, "Oh, that's my client." I'm like, "Hey, they're everybody's client. We don't do commission anymore." And so finally, they just wouldn't shut up. And I said, "Hey, we'll split the commission on that one. How about that one?" And she was like, "What?" It's crazy how I always wondered that. That's interesting. I never knew that.
Well,
how y'all got connected.
I got started. I ran into your favorite guy, Bill Taylor.
Yeah. Love Bill.
I told him what was going on. He said, "Won't you come down there and talk to Terry? He might give you a job." I said, "You think he would?" He said, "He might." So, yeah, buddy, we'd love to have you. Offer me $150 a week.
Wow, that's crazy.
It might have been a little bit more than that.
But I mean, a man needs a job and a start, and then if you're a natural born hustler,
it's also relative. That was a long time ago, but it's still not much.
And then what happened on that end? That's a big deal. You probably don't know anything about Branson, Missouri, but Branson, Missouri had just taken off, and your dad had introduced me to all these different people around Nashville. One of the greatest guys I ever met, and got a super nice guy, Frank Oakley, was taking care of Willie Nelson.
I remember hearing that name.
And Frank said, "Buddy, won't you go up there and sell some of that stuff for Willie Nelson, like the merchandise in the shows. When the show's going on, you can work them aisles and sell that merchandise." I said, "Well, I got my job with Terry." He said, "You probably keep your job with Terry and go up there and get some of them accounts for him." So that's what I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I went up there and worked that deal with Frank, and that just working with your dad introduced me to the souvenir business.
Yeah.
So from there, after that, I went after Me and Terry we split on good terms, completely good terms. Still think a lot of one another. But I did that deal with Willie Nelson for about a year, and Willie just did not want to do that theater business anymore. But Frank Oakley made a lot of money on that deal. Buddy made a little money on that deal. But anyway, I got back, and I just started calling on people like Opryland and the people downtown. It used to be downtown. 16th Music Row was up there where they used to call it where
the Demonbreum.
Demon Brewing.
Yeah, Demon Brewing.
Brewing.
Yeah,
They call it Demon
yeah.
Brewing.
They
Well,
still
anyway,
call it everything.
yeah,
It's like my last name, Cologne, Cologne, all kinds of stuff.
Barbara Mandrell had a brand up there.
Yeah.
Hank Williams had a brand. All those other stores over there were branded, and got Moneybags Scott, James Scott owned all that building over there.
I remember that name.
He owned
So is that where like Tin Roof is?
Yeah.
Up
Yes.
That
Yeah.
area
And
there.
there's one man owned every one of those buildings.
Really? Right behind Beeman. When Beeman had his car.
He's a Japanese guy, right? Japanese.
No, his name
Korea.
was James Scott.
Okay, who was the guy that hid the wax museum down there at the end?
Oh, that was another. But
Dad would take me up there, and I thought I was a kid.
Gory, yeah.
Gold, and
Yeah,
you'd
but
look over in the corner, and there'd be like a wax figure over there staring at you. I just
Yeah.
like, man, this dude's in
that was
some
a
weird
different
shit.
owner. That was a different owner in that building. You're correct.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of how I got started in the souvenir industry. And from that, we come back, and we was calling on some decent accounts. Had some good stuff going on. But when Opryland shut down, that shut down your souvenir business up and down the highway. Interstate, people weren't traveling to Nashville anymore because it was not a destination.
I can remember that happening.
It's just like turning the water off. Nobody's coming. So we trickled around there, and my son Brian was selling this guy right across the street from the Nats Car Cafe, and it was just a little old NASCAR store, and he was selling. I said, go in there, Brian, and I was calling on. I thought the big accounts. I was taking care of Dollywood, and I was taking care of Branson, Missouri,
I remember that.
and I was taking all the big stuff, and I could give him the little stuff to do, I said, go in there and call on that guy. And he started selling some of this Nashville stuff. He said, Dad, he's selling some Nashville stuff in there. He said, Dad, he's going to close that store down next year. I said, what are you going to do that for? I said, let's go in there and see if he'll do a little lease deal with us, a little consignment, where we'll pay him a percentage on what we sell. Brian went there, suggested him. He took it up on it. And from the next year, we did a little business in that thing. He said, now, guys, what y'all need to do is tear this little wall here I got down. I got a whole lot more room back there in the back, and enlarge this thing. That's what we did. We called it, we made that thing bigger. And we couldn't think of a name for that store. And Brian had this old dog named Bogey.
I remember
Had
that.
a bulldog named Bogey.
My friend,
That's
that girl I
right.
was dating at the time, she said, buddy, won't you name it after that dog and have a bulldog as a mascot? And that's what we did.
Yeah,
we
I
named it
forgot
Bogies.
about that.
We named it Bogies.
Till you said it.
So that had to be like in the 2000s.
No,
like
no, that was probably
90, really?
90,
In the 90s?
95, 96.
So Brian was like just 5-6 years out of high school.
Yeah. He was out. But anyway,
Yeah.
so we started right there with Bogies. And
Brian was always a hustler.
and after a while, we seen that
Timmy was too.
we saw that we were paying him as much commission as we could have if we could have bought that thing for. So I said, Brian, let's see if we can buy that building from him. He said, Byron, what do you want for that building? He said, 1.8.
Holy shit.
Wanted 1.8 for it.
Free now.
Well, you ain't heard nothing yet. 1.8. I said, well, see if he'll tote the note on it. He said, and us paying a monthly note on it. So we amortized the thing. They carried the note on it. And we bought the building from with nothing down.
1.8 million.
1.8 million. But we ended up selling that thing. We ended up selling that building to some friends of mine out of Atlanta. And we was going to condo. We were going to split all that up and condo that baby out. That whole block was going to condo it out. And our building for free was going to be where the boot store is right now. That was going to be ours, tax-free, paid for. That was going to be our condo. But they had a chance to sell that building. I said, you can't sell it. That's deeded to us. That's a deed to us. I said, I know that, but what we want to do is sell you the old burnout building next door to us. Because where Whiskey Bent is, the third floor is kind of burnt out just a little bit. We're gonna sell you the burnout building. I said, that building's been empty for 50 years.
Yeah.
For 50 years, I'm gonna have to spend $1 million to get that up to codes. Now you might not have to do that. Let's just see if we can't work out a deal. I said, what do you take for it? They said $150,000.
So
That'd be like now. Like,
Wait a minute, it ain't over yet.
That's
It ain't over yet.
unbelievable. I'm sorry. I gotta keep my mouth shut.
I'll get a beer on that now.
I gotta keep my mouth shut. This is unbelievable.
Hey,
I'm so glad this is happening. I'm like
Hey,
mind blown right now.
I wish they all released me for
150.
150.
Hey, wait a minute,
I
it ain't
can't put a
over
pool
yet.
in my backyard for that right now.
Hey, it ain't over yet. Little old buddy Master, old boy from East Nashville, said, I went down Wheel and Deal with. I said, look, we don't want that building. We're going to have to spend $1 million on it, and we still don't know what we're going to have. I don't know what we're going to do, but we have to work out something better. So what will you give us? I said, I'll give you $75,000 for it. Boom.
Sold
They
it
took
to you.
Yeah.
That's what I get for over talking people. He wasn't even done. He didn't got him, talked him down like he's in the half price bread section.
So for those,
Unbelievable.
so for those that been to Nashville, where Whiskey Bent, which Buddy owns, you got Whiskey
Paid
Bent.
for. Everybody
paid
else
for,
got
yeah.
everybody else got big nuts
Paid-
truck.
Well, I didn't know you bought it for $75,000. That's a whole different scenario.
But I got a little bit more in it than that.
Yeah.
We built it up to
So,
code.
so you got Whiskey Bent, you got Miranda Lambert's, whatever she calls her bar. Then there's a candy store, and in that candy store, Buddy, I don't know if it was
It was a parking lot. It was a-
Did you own the parking lot?
Yeah, we owned the parking
when
lot.
you had bogeys as well.
Yeah.
So parking lot
So I
now is a
never
candy
knew that
store.
either.
And
So
because I just remember going down there, and me and Timmy go to lunch or something. I'd pull in that little parking lot
yeah.
and park there. And
That's
you
it.
couldn't park 10 cars, and they charged, back then was $25, and you went.
No, we'd lucky to get $25 a day back then.
That's unbelievable.
So yeah,
Where's
pretty
my
cool.
beer at?
Uh,
Come on now.
Dude, you never even got him the first one.
He didn't ask for one.
Oh.
So
Well,
you end
process.
up buying what is now Whiskey Bent for $75,000.
Correct.
That's unbelievable. That's blowing my mind right now.
To think
I never knew that.
what the other people have spent down there now.
And hey, we've turned down $25 million for that building.
I believe that.
That's pretty good return.
Yeah, because that one right there, basically across the street from him, that's no building, that was just a parking lot, sold for what, 18, 19 million?
Yeah, and then like Jack's up the street sold for 17 million. Not half as big as a Whiskey Bent. Not half as big as Whiskey Bent.
So obviously,
What a cool, that's so
obviously
cool.
you stole that property. But before, when it was bogeys, let's just talk about me as a teenager running the street, or me as a 21-year-old, running the street in Nashville. So that's 30 years ago. You didn't go to Broadway. Then you went to, Second Avenue, had the bars, had what was the one down there in the basement
Yeah.
up from him?
Broadway wasn't that
What-
great.
Broadway was,
We would go down there. We would go down there when I was old enough, or whenever I had an ID or something. We would go to Broadway because the drinks were cheap. Like we'd go down to like
Dutchess and Roberts.
Stage and all that. Man, beers were like $1 a piece. Now they're $15 a piece.
well, they're $9 at most places. But they're keeping it affordable at Whiskey Bent, though. They're keeping it affordable. It's for the working class man at
Yeah.
Whiskey Bent.
That's unbelievable. Though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I knew they owned the buildings, but I never.
That's a story right there.
That's
You
an
stop, it's crazy.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, especially people that are. I know you already said this. But people that maybe have visited Nashville. I say that like we got 20 million followers. We got 97 people going to listen to this. Maybe if we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
No, 97 followers. We got 20 people might listen to it. My mom's going to listen to it 3 times. But if people do listen to this, I hope they do.
By the
That
way,
don't-
I love your mama.
Well, we are very lucky to have her. She's the glue. She's the glue that holds us all together, man. But people that don't realize that don't come to Nashville often. That's just
Hey, got a clue.
well, I'll give you a great example. My son, so happy, proud of him. He just bought a house, and it's like his first home, and it's awesome. It's a great house, but it's like maybe. He may correct me when he hears this. He will listen, actually. 2,200 square feet, and it's awesome, but it's a $500,000 house, right? And I'm like, you know, he's like, Daddy, what was your first house? I went, it was super awesome. It was $83,000, which I know everything's relative, and that's such an old man thing to say because I remember my dad going, I remember when Cokes were there. But it's Nashville is so, people that don't come here, if they listen to this, they don't realize Nashville is the new LA, but the cool LA. It is not cheap to live here, and that's unbelievable that you bought a commercial building for that.
Well, it was kind of like my life. You know, this Nashville was not planned to do what it's doing now. My life was not planned for me to do what I did. But I get up every morning, I go to work, and I shoot from the hip. If there's a deal out there, I'm gonna grab it.
That was my next question. When you bought that building, I know my dad's purchased things in the past, and he's done well for himself as well. But you know, he's very frugal in a good way. I'm a lot like my dad. I wish sometimes I'm glad I don't have those traits because I'm not going to say smart. I've been lucky at best on the few deals I've made. You know, I haven't got burnt too bad yet, but it'll probably happen one day. But I guess my point to that was when you bought that, you obviously didn't have any idea what was going to happen in Nashville. Nobody did. But when you bought that, did you envision like when you signed on the dotted line, you didn't envision going like, oh man, I'm going to buy this building and it's going to be. Yeah.
No. For instance, for maybe 5 years before we was trying to rent a building on 2nd Avenue, and we let it go for about a year and didn't rent it. And I talking to the guy that was leasing buildings down there, I said, "Did you ever lease that building?" He said, "No, buddy. Make them an offer. They want somebody in there like you, because we had bogeys a gift shop." So I went down and looked at it. It's where it's called Famous now. It's where the Silver Dollar Saloon used to be. And so
you remember Little Man? Little Man, he had to work today, buddy, so he's running a little late.
Work for a living.
Walk in, I heard Scott say he ain't smart, and I said, "Well, hell, nobody accused him of being."
That's true. That's true.
But anyway, we went down there and talked to him, and he was wanting $6,000 a month. This was probably 94, maybe somewhere around there. And I said, Brian was selling Charlie. And you also always sold Charlie Daniels a lot of stuff. We sold him a little bit of stuff, and Brian was in good with the lady that the fan club, Ginger.
Yeah, Ginger. That's right.
So he asked Ginger, "You think Charlie will want to put a museum in here?" She said, "Well, I don't know. I'll ask him."
She's sweet as can be.
And so Charlie Daniels put a museum in there, and we had to start. And that's when I looked at it. And I said, "We would never we wouldn't have enough money to fill this thing up. It's 5,000 square foot per floor, I think, something like that. I mean,
it's huge.
From 2nd Avenue to the river.
It's huge.
It's huge.
I remember going down and watching fireworks before they figured out what they were going to make. What they've done with it.
He bought Whiskey Bent for $75,000 when you weren't here.
Does he want your money back?
Turned down $25 million.
I like that story too. Like if you told, because the world has ADD now. If you told that story and people were like, "Oh, you mean what's your lead?" No, I own the bricks and the dirt for $75,000. That's crazy.
Nobody believed it.
No, nobody would.
No. So was Steve Smith already down there at that time, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
When you bought the building, Steve Smith, which they call the Godfather. You're second in charge down there, by the way.
No,
but Steve Smith, did he own Tootsie's before you bought the building?
I was in the wholesale business when Steve bought Tootsie's. And the reason Tootsie's made it so big, Steve told me the story. He said, CMT come to me, buddy, and they want to film in here. You know, when CMT was going to film it, and they want to film in Tootsie's bar. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. He said, when I did that, it happened. But, you know, a lot of different things happened to bring Nashville to Nashville. It wasn't just that. It was, I think one big thing was when they had the NFL draft here and brought all those people here.
The convention center.
The convention center had a lot to do with it. And Butch Spearden had a lot to develop in Nashville like he did.
Butch was a dear.
But it's
is a dear friend of ours. Still reach out to him.
We used to think 10 years ago, God, if we would just be like fanfare every day. When we had a little gift shop.
Right.
Hey, Nashville is 10 times bigger than fanfare ever was every day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
every day.
Sonny, Butch's wife, and I are dear friends from way back, and I'm gonna, if she doesn't listen to this, I'm gonna tell her to
Graduated high
follow-
school with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna Butch Spearden, like he was basically the mayor when he was like
He had. If anybody had a vision, Butch had a vision.
But I'm gonna tell you something about him, and I'm saying this because I know he's retired now, and good for him and Sonny. But Sonny and I every once in a while we'll check in on each other, and Butch, I'll say, "How's Butch?" He would I would have these crazy ideas, a younger guy, and I was never scared to. I guess that was my father and me. I was never intimidated or never really scared of people, and I would just call Butch and be like, "Hey, I got this idea," and me and Ward Gunther would go down there and bounce ideas off him with Whiskey Jam, and some of them he would like look at us like we're crazy, but he would always. I'm like, I got to thinking about that the other day. He was so busy. He'd be like,
Yeah.
and he would always take
See
it.
you. Yeah.
Oh, I'd be coming there dressed like this, and he'd have all his suits and ties around there and be like, who are these rednecks coming here? But what a guy. What a guy. Yeah. Anyway, not to get sidetracked, but, man,
anyway,
what a guy.
we convinced Charlie Daniels to put a museum in there, and we ended up renting that building. They wanted $6,000. We ended up renting it for $3,000 a month. But by the time we left, and it gotten up to $15,000 a month, and we just couldn't make it in the souvenir business paying $15,000 a month. Well, I said something. I told Charlie about it. I said, "Charlie, would you?" He said, "You know whose fault it is, don't you?" I said, "No, who?" He said, "Obama's."
So
Charlie said that. That's what a great story.
Yeah, who could make anybody with Obama as a president?
in case someone's been to Nashville, you had the Hard Rocks on the corner.
Yeah,
Your building was
right beside it.
right
yeah.
beside. But
Yeah.
then you had a Sun. Did you do a Sun Records
I
deal
did that,
up
but
there?
between that, I had a store up there where I did a little partnership with Dolly Parton. I'll tell you a story about that. I had two gift shops out at Music Valley, and wanted some per people come there. You got any Dolly Parton merchandise? I said, no, I don't think Dolly would appreciate us selling it. I said, but we would like to go and do a little venture with her on 2nd Avenue if she would. So she introduced me to Dolly's manager, and that developed us into putting in a store with Dolly. And one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met, believe it or not. Dolly is Dolly, anywhere at any time. But anyway, we had a grand opening in there, and she hugged me, gave me a big hug. She said, "Buddy Messer, I couldn't wait to actually get to meet you, because my mama's mama was a messer from up there where your daddy come from, up there in Smoky Mountains." I said, "Yep, that's it." She said, we're cousins. I know we're cousins, probably long distance cousins, but we're cousins." Well, she was just sweet as she could be. But from there, then had 3 stores on 2nd Avenue. Had the Charlie Daniels Museum, had Dolly Parton's Trinkets and Treasures, and on up, we had a deal with Sun Records up there. And we called that Sun on 2nd.
Yeah, I remember that.
With Shelby
place.
Singleton,
Yeah.
who's passed away. But Sun Records just sold, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago for $30 million. But that was a good little deal right there. But we just.
Do you see 2nd Avenue coming? I mean, it's obviously coming back. Do you think it's going?
It won't be nothing like Broadway.
No.
It never has. That's the reason. But we saw when we was on Broadway, when we had a gift shop on Broadway, I went by there, and there was always a lot of tour buses on 2nd Avenue. I guess they could park right on the street or something. I said, we just need to get a store on 2nd. But it was in there $3,000 a month. It's cheap. Then the good part about it, it had 2 more floors above it. Did any of y'all ever go to see my place?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I went up there. That's what I was. Maybe I had the buildings wrong.
That's where Broadway Buddy came from.
Yeah.
No, I would go down there to watch
Fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah, under my roof.
Yeah.
I had the only rooftop bar in Nashville that one time.
Funny story. I went 2 years in a row, and I probably had seen you maybe 2 times in the year, unfortunately, just because we're all busy. And the next year, I took a date. The first year and the next year, I took a date, and I don't remember what her name was, but you called her by the girl from the year prior.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was all good. I appreciated the invite, though.
Didn't work out real well at the end.
No, I mean, yeah.
She got an Uber
I was like,
home.
"Oh, baby, this is so pretty." Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Pissed her off the rest of the night, didn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. That man's crazy, ain't he? But I took that whole that whole floor and made it my museum. I had everything from motor scooters, from everything I'd ever owned.
I remember
that. That I could get up that old elevator. Did you ever go up that old
Yeah,
elevator?
I did.
Scary.
It was kind of cool though. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Pull the rope down, you go up. Pull the
that
rope
was
up, you
pretty
go
neat.
down.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I mean, just see it evolve, and then to have have the relationship with people that own down there is pretty crazy.
That's really cool.
Because now we've got big time owners coming in.
Corporations.
You take TC Restaurant Group,
TC Group.
Joe Fields, who was a good friend of mine. And when he came to Nashville, we shook hands. We were buddies. His first bar was called Red Iguana. You ever go to Red Iguana?
Oh yeah.
Well, that was his first one there. But he said, "It's not making me any money. I've got to change over this country music." So he switched it to Cadillac Ranch, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, there still was nothing on where we were at when we moved Bogies where it is, where Whiskey Bent is. There, we moved out of. Let me tell you how I got up with Whiskey Bent. Barrett Hobbs, y'all know Barrett Hobbs? Well, see, I had 2 stores out there at the Valley. Me and Barrett was buddies. He said, "Buddy, you got the best place for opening up a new bar on Broadway." I said, "Barrett, I don't want to be a bartender or own a beer joint." He said, "You don't have to. I can run it." He said, I can put people in there to run it. You won't have to do nothing, sit back and make the money. So we put that little deal together, and that's how we opened up Whiskey Bent. My son Brian gave it the name, Whiskey Bent Saloon. We formed a corporation, a 50% corporation. And that's been 15 years ago. But anyway, best thing I guess I ever did, it's not.
But that was totally by accident, kind of, right?
Kinda.
Barrett had to talk you into doing it, right?
Had to talk all 3 of us into doing it.
Yeah.
He's pretty slick. He's like you, Scott. He's a pretty slick talker.
Man, I don't guess I ever met maybe I have. I don't know. I don't guess I ever met Barrett face to face, but man, I sure would like to. I love stories about. I know all about him because I think it's really cool. I just like the hustler in people. It's like we told. I want to continue with this, but I was telling somebody the other day, and Dad was like, "Oh, this kid came in, graduated honors at Belmont, blah blah blah," and this kid was so proud of. I graduated a 4.0, and I said, "But the deal is, are you a hustler?" I always liked those kind of guys that like came up from. I don't know what Barrett's background is. I don't know if he came from nothing or he was already wealthy or what. But I always liked the hustle in people. I always thought that was intriguing to me.
Well, Barrett's family was well off anyway. They developed. In other words, his granddaddy developed all that stuff out there at Music Valley.
Yeah.
Where,
you got scoreboards now.
Yeah.
Well, where
scoreboards is still on fire.
It was nothing though when Barrett took it over.
Crazy.
But he made that. Barrett did make that. The Nashville Palace, all that. Barrett owns it now. Barrett's done a great job out there.
And they pulled that Nashville Palace kind of like I mean, it was probably always solid, but I mean, there's a lot of our everything's evolved like everything does. I mean, you still have the pop country, the more the more mainstream country like the Morgan Wallen stuff like that. But a lot of kids are starving for the old school stuff, and a lot of them now are playing down there at Barrett's place and so it's evolved too. You go down there on I don't know who's down there tonight, but if you go down there, they're line dancing. That place is packed.
Barrett's done well. I mean, when he decided to go out there and run his venues out there, that was the best thing that ever happened to him because he was able to develop that out there. He worked with us for 5 years at Whiskey Bent downtown and decided to take over his stuff down there. Mm-hmm. And for 10 years, we had our own management team run it. And Barrett's completely out of it now, but one of the best things that ever happened to me was knowing Barrett Hobbs and putting that deal together because it was a lot of bad stuff that went on, not real bad, but some bad stuff, but we're still good friends. But you got to look at the positive stuff at everything you do in life. What can I make positive out of this? And meeting Barrett Hobbs and turning that little bogus gifts into Whiskey Bent Saloon. It's just been, we sell a lot more beer than we did t-shirts. Let's put it that way.
Profits a little bit better.
A little higher margin. So the scoreboards is what he owns. 'Cause it wasn't
He owns a
maybe
lot of stuff.
10 years ago, it seemed like my father-in-law took me up there because it was the only place he could smoke cigarettes.
You
in.
might
Oh
get-
yeah, it was it.
You
Yeah.
might have
It
got
wa-
knifed.
There was no outdoor
Might have got
stage.
stabbed.
No,
Yeah, it wasn't like a nice
regular,
place. It was
No.
a triple
regular,
wide trailer.
the regular old guys hung out in there
Yeah,
every.
and he only
evening.
wanted to go there because he could smoke inside.
Yeah, smoke inside, drink beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I went to Nashville Palace one time, and I didn't mean to.
Is that the one
That
that's
was 10, 12
behind it?
years.
Behind
Yeah,
it.
10,
Yeah.
12 years
So
ago.
John Michael Montgomery still meets his band there and still takes his bus
Yeah.
out of that parking lot.
Yeah, I went to scoreboards just shoot, it was only 4 weeks ago on a Sunday because Sunday's awesome down there. They have the
Spasmatics.
Spasmatics, which is a great cover
that's what-
band, and
that did it for him.
Tanner came down there and met up with me and some of his buddies, and then yeah, I had a lady friend with me, and we were down there. We had the best time down there, and the food's good now and stuff. But yeah, I guess what I was saying while we were there Sunday afternoon, so the buses are coming in from out on the road, and you can kind of they don't realize this, but the tourists are like they've caught on to a lot of people. That's we call it bus call, and that's where the bus calls are, and so they're coming back from the runs, and so I mean. Any given time, you may look out there in the parking lot and see who knows who.
Right.
So you see the fans are like, oh, the buses pull up, and yeah, so that's cool.
I just know that's being friends with him, playing golf with him. He still says that's where he meets up with his band. If they're going somewhere south.
Yeah, a few. I don't know whose buses they were, but a few buses pulled up. But you could see like Tanner actually pointed. He's like, you can tell who who's local or not because you see those buses pull up. People get kind of like, oh, who's out there?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's super cool.
So obviously you got the Steve Smith, you got Joe Fields. You've obviously been down there as long as these guys have, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, having your novelty shop before, or around the same time.
Yeah.
And you've got to see it really evolve.
Oh yeah.
And now, what do you think the next 10 years looks like for Nashville?
It's not going to slow down.
I like that question.
You don't see it. You don't see it.
I think when it slow down when they get the East Bank going is what somebody says.
But I still being down there, if you ain't on Broadway, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you're a restaurant or a hotel. And the thing I say about Nashville, and we'll see how it evolves because I traveled all my life, and 15 years ago, people be like, "Where are you from?" Be like, "Nashville." Oh, you bunch of rednecks, or what are y'all doing? And now you're like, "Hey, I'm from Nashville," and they're like, "God, I've never been," or "I had the best time there. I can't wait to go back."
Right.
And I don't see how that East Bank will ever get people off Broadway. Unless you go to a football game.
You're probably looking at 20 years. For
They're
things
gonna
develop.
have to get a football team that wins more than 3 games every year. That'll help a little bit.
You're looking at
But
10
they
to
didn't
20
need one
years.
to build a new stadium with it anymore.
That's true.
You're looking 10 to
They charge
20
you
years for that thing to
125
develop.
grand.
And
They did
I'm
not
just
get my
saying,
money.
For the general population coming to Nashville, they're going to do whatever, and they're going to hit Broadway.
They're gonna
They're
go.
on front
They're
of the
gonna go
Broadway.
honky tonking.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
what they
because that's
came
what they
for.
know.
Start by 10 o'clock in the morning.
I was standing there talking to one policeman one day. I said,
Speaking of which.
I hate those old taxi taverns and those pedal cars and all that stuff. He said, buddy, let me ask you something. He said, how long are they on those pedal cars? I said, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes. And guess what? When they get off, they come in your bars
They're
and get
thirsty.
drunk.
Yeah.
And they're thirsty.
We had
So leave it alone. He
Yeah.
said, that's the only thrill they got when they come to Nashville, ride one of them pedal taverns.
They drop them off right in
That's
front
like
of Whiskey
That's
Bent.
like a theme car, you know.
Oh, yeah.
pay 'em, drop 'em off right in front of you.
Yeah.
I hate those some bitches too, but I wish I owned 20 of them.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
when they first come to town, I said they'll never. Of course, that was I keep saying before Nashville was Nashville,
Yeah.
and that's the truth. Went before Nashville, and they'd sit out there on them old girls would sit out there on them pedal cars. You want to take a ride on a pedal car? You want to take a ride on a pedal car? And they would sit there and maybe they'd take 3 or 4 rides out a day. I said, them things will never make
I
it.
think they get like $40 a seat.
They
They probably do. There's a whole damn bunch of them right there when you get off.
So
Right there at the top
yeah,
of the
one of my
number.
dearest friends on earth, he just recently introduced me to I think there's 2 companies down there. I think maybe there's more now, but he he was one of the first ones to buy and he was just smart, and he bought I don't know, he bought 2 or 3 of them, probably had them financed, and then he paid them off and snowballed them. Now he's got 15 or 20 of those things. Dude, that guy's killing it.
Yeah,
That's probably the place that's right up here, right off of 65.
I think it's called Pedal Tavern.
It's right- they
There's
got a
there's
little
two
shop.
of them.
yeah.
I can't remember his
I think
name.
that's the one
I just
passed
had
it
dinner
the other-
with him I went to dinner with my buddy the other night, and he's brought this guy, and I was like, so what do you do? And he told me, I was like, oh, I want to pick your brain, man. He's like, man, I just kind of, he goes, I went to Austin, Texas, and I saw him, and he goes, I researched them, and he goes, I didn't have any money, and I bought a couple of them, and he goes, I got them paid. Be like somebody owning rental houses and just snowballed them, and now he's rocking and rolling, man.
That's what the first ones were, Paddle Taverns.
Yeah.
And they just finally sold that scrapyard over there across the river. They're off of Koreans.
Yeah.
Is that going to be
Probably
MGM
ball.
finally?
I bet baseball. I'd say they're going to build a major league.
I just
ballpark
figured
there
eventually it's going to be a casino down there somewhere.
Well, they say that's the plans for Nashville is a casino someday. But you guys,
I
might
figured
see
that's
it.
who bought the scrapyard.
I don't know.
It is crazy going back to what you said though back in the day when people, oh, you live in Nashville, it's so red.
Yeah.
Now, no exaggeration, almost weekly, because I've met people all over the world, really, but all over the nation for sure. They'll be, oh, me and my wife are coming in. You want to meet us down here at Aldean's on Saturday? Nope, I do not. But I would love to see you. But you're gonna have to come to Henderson and go eat the catch or something. I ain't going. You think I'm gonna come down there to Aldean's on a Saturday night? No,
Yeah.
and I know people, and I still ain't
You
coming
can
down
meet
there.
him at Chili's, who's probably guaranteed to sponsor.
Yeah.
So,
El Presidente.
You know the
You made good luck there.
you know
Yeah. Free chips and salsa.
the amount of what I would say international travel with Nashville getting the new international stuff. It's crazy when you go down there. How many people from England, Australia, Wales, New Zealand? That's
It's
I
cool
think
to
that's
me.
going to be the next.
It's actually neat.
That's going to be the next
Yeah.
wave. I think will be more international people coming to Nashville.
I enjoy talking to those folks too. I think it's pretty cool.
Because they're in there they really don't know what to think. They're like,
Oh, yeah.
it's Tuesday
Yeah.
at 7 o'clock.
They'll be like,
You know,
oh,
it's
People
great.
all over
I
the
love
street.
Yeah.
they'll be talking to somebody from wherever, and they'll be like, oh, I love your accent. I can't understand them. They can't understand me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was, thinking about, buddy, we're not bar owners. He's a roofer. I sell used cars for a living, and Scott sells t-shirts. Give us
I
a,
sell T-shirts too.
and you still,
Used to.
Whiskey Bent, go ahead and get one.
Yeah.
And so just kind of give us a rundown of maybe if you know, and maybe you don't know, you're not a food chain, but the chain of command, who opens up in the morning. I mean, they for people that have been in Nashville, it starts at 10 a.m. and they go to 3 a.m.
Right.
And you can drink all you want to, get roofied all you want to, but you're going to get drunk is what's going to happen. But give us maybe it's a stupid question, but I would like to know, how does it start? You got a guy shows up at 8, he gets the bars. I'm just kind of wondering,
Most of them, they got their cleanup guys that come in, from 5 o'clock in the morning till time they open. Most of them open up at we open up at 11. Roberts, Layla's, Tootsie's, all up on the other end of the street. Legends, they open up at 10. But everybody else open at 11 to 12 down the lower end of Broadway down there. We open up at 11 and we go to 3 o'clock in the morning. All of us go to 3 o'clock in the morning, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week. That's
And
the key
repeat.
right there.
That's crazy.
Sunday night, 7
stop
o'clock,
it.
you go. Sunday night at 3 a.m., they're in their last call, 2:30 in the
About
morning.
about
Take a fire
2:30.
hose, just spray the whole damn place out.
About
and just start
2:30,
over.
yeah. I'm telling you, Sunday down there is pretty impressive.
Now,
too.
I mean, I've been down there.
Yeah, they
See,
clean.
they
It's
start Irish
clean.
goodbye at
It's
about
clean.
10:30.
The street people
You give
come
an
in
Irish
probably
goodbye
4
at
o'clock
Oh,
in the
I'm
morning. Start
good at
cleaning.
those.
But what has happened down there? So many of these big bars have come in. I'm talking big bars like Aldean's and Posties and Morgan Wallings and all those cats.
But they're all the same.
They're all the same, but still, they suck a lot of people off the street.
Right. I get that.
But still, little old Whiskey Bent, we still get our share. Like Lazarus in the Bible, just give us the culls. Just give us our share. That's all we get.
That's what I told Riley Green one time.
Yeah, just get your share.
It's just easier size over here.
I said, good Lord, man, this is a pretty backstage area. I said, what are you gonna do with these coals? I might have really said that.
You
I ain't quick enough just to come up with that.
You probably did. But we still hold our own. But of course, we're Joe Fields called me about 6 months ago. Said, "Buddy, how's your business?" I said, "We're probably 20% off." He said, "We are too." He said, "What do you think caused that?" I said, "Cause all these big bars coming in." I said, "Like you." I said, "You're the cost of all this, Joe. You put a bar here and another bar here and another bar here, and pretty soon you're sucking business from this bar going to your new bar. What have you accomplished?
Yeah.
The good news for you though, buddy, if the beer sales are down 20% for the year, you still own the bricks.
I still own the bricks, and I don't have no $25 million nut to crush. Yeah, so
$75,000. I'm still mind blown on that.
well, we spend a
little money on
spend a little money getting up.
Some bar stool.
No, it took more
Okay.
Hey,
Let's make it real nice and build it out. Let's have $3 million in it.
Okay. No, we didn't have nothing like that.
There, see, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, it had no floors. It had no floors.
You could rent it.
Yeah. Well, we pay ourselves rent. We pay ourselves a pretty good rent. But anyway, it had no ceilings in it. It had no heat, had no air, had no electric, had no plumbing, had nothing. So we had to get it all up to codes. And easier to get codes done back then it is today, though.
I remember Timmy working on that building.
Oh yeah, Timmy worked on that building. Yeah, he got it all up to codes.
And who know? He may know this answer to this. He would know it more so than me. But I've heard this by 3 different people, and all 3, one being my father, I think, mentioned it. So not people that would just make stuff up. I heard when Steve Smith opened, what's the 7-story thing?
Honky-tonk Central.
Yeah, he opened that up. He opened it up to like during CMA Fest, and they had done this major build out on it, which who knows how much that cost. And he recouped the build out the week of CMA Fest on that building.
Steve Smith does a lot of business.
Yeah.
He got boats and houses approved
and jet planes.
I know that.
Golf courses.
No, I know that. But isn't that crazy? Like you build out a building like that, which you're talking about millions of dollars.
Well, he bought where Kid Rock is down there, and it was
the restaurant.
It was a boot building. Boot store had sold boots out of it, and he bought the property. And before they knew what was happening on a Sunday night, he come down there and blowed the thing up, started all over. But he said, "I'll build it back to codes and make it look like 2nd Avenue," and he did. He did a good job with it. But I'd say he's probably got one of the #1 bars down there with Kid Rock.
I would say by far.
Yeah.
But I guess
didn't you go there the other day?
If you look at a guy like him, he's a natural born hustler. He didn't come from nothing.
Is there other girls in that bar?
He's like an old Nashville guy too.
He told me he went to New York.
Sometimes they go down there and say, "Hey, talk to this guy."
He did
Don't
because he's old country boy when you talk to him.
He goes, "You got red hair."
Yeah,
That's what it's.
He is. He's an old country boy that done well.
Come on.
But he's definitely Daddy Warbox of Broadway.
Oh, he was. I put him 1. I mean, for me, you're my #1, but I put him making money down there 1, and then you've been there as long as he has, in my opinion.
Well, I started with nothing.
But I mean, I don't remember Joe Fields being down there.
Joe Fields actually was in the construction business and was building bars for people. And him and his brother decided to build their own bars back 30 years ago. And they was doing a deal with a guy in Knoxville who actually owned the NASCAR Cafe.
I remember that one.
Okay, he owned and of course they took over one over his NASCAR cafes in Knoxville. He said, "Won't you take the one over in Nashville?" He said, "What kind of rent you gonna charge?" "Well, I'm gonna give you a good deal." He said, "What's a good deal?" He said, $25,000 a month. Now then, that was terrible 20 years ago. But today's time, that's still renting a building. Yeah.
That's wild, man. That's pretty.
But
cool.
it's just.
I don't ever go down there much unless there's something where I gotta go. I ain't never been in Kid Rock's bar. I think Chris has. I ain't never been. I've been to Aldean's and Luke's a few times, but to me, like all those bars, like his is like an original. Like you walk in, you know where you're at if you go down there and frequent. But like nothing against TC Group because I know all those guys too. We service some of those places down there, but they all feel the same. If you took the sign down and went in blindfold and you opened, and they took your blind, it's like, where are you at right now? They're all the same kind of.
Yeah.
Miranda's is a little different.
Well, he owns that too.
Yeah, I know, but hers is. I think she had more. And I'm not saying Luke and Jason and all those guys didn't have their fingerprint on stuff, but like you can feel like Miranda's feels different, and the food's really good there. But I don't know; they all feel the same to me. But I always think it's cool that he owns one of the original ones. That's like,
That's what I said.
Right.
I mean, you put him on that. So when people ask me, I think what I would consider the north side being Buddy's side.
yeah,
Or if you're walking from First, the
Yeah.
right side is more traditional.
Yeah, that's where
That's
everybody-
true.
You know,
everybody-
maybe Blake Shelton, but you know where Eric Church is going to be more traditional. He's not
Yeah.
going to let you do
I
it.
like Chiefs.
And then
I've been
John
in there.
Rich is definitely not going. He's a pretty conservative guy. You start coming up there, and Blake Shelton's bar is not, but the left side is definitely more younger crowd,
Yeah.
more what I
Yeah.
would consider.
Yeah,
But they all, I tell people they started about legends, and man, they funnel down.
Yeah,
They
do.
funnel down. They
Yeah.
funnel down. If it's too crowded over here, they go across
do-
there, and they kinda,
I do think it's
kinda
funny
fall
though.
down.
Like going back to what people will be like, "Hey, me and my wife are in town. What bar should we go to?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "What
every
do you?"
time.
Yeah, what are you going to drink? I mean,
You want traditional? Go to Alan Jackson's.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
won't let you play anything rock or anything else.
You want to go? Yeah, I
And-
mean,
and-
some
and
like
I think-
Aldean. I've been with Tanner and them at Aldean's, and I know people in there to, rock star me in there, and I mean, it turns into a club at night.
Yeah.
I mean, and which is fine if that's what you're into, but it's like,
I'll tell you another good story too. Is Layla's? You've been in Layla's?
oh yeah, I'll that's if you said let's go to if you like that's where I would go to. Like if I wanted to go down there, I ain't going, but that's where I would go.
Well, Layla come to town 30 years ago with a guitar on her back. With a guitar on her back, singing on the street. Now that's the story.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
We're looking for female guests. Could you get
Yeah,
her
I'll
on
get her in
here?
here. I'll get me and her come in one day.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm with him. I mean, that's a story.
That's a
Because
story.
you're still doing her merchandise, and you still got a great relationship with her.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, she come with a guitar in her back. She owns a bar on Broadway now. It's probably worth $30 million, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Layla's is where, like now, I'm a lot older now, but like, I would go to the hockey games and I would always go to Layla's because nothing again. I mean, I'm sure they kill it, but I knew the guy at the door and I could get in there and get a couple of cold beers and you didn't feel like you were going to get run over. It was like good crowd, but not overly packed.
And good music.
Great music,
Yeah.
unbelievable music. Still, I guess,
I
right?
say,
I haven't been in there in 3 or 4
Layla's
years.
good herself. I said, Layla, why don't you get up there and sing every once, buddy? If I get up there and sing, everybody wants.
Does she still go down there?
Yeah, to get her money.
Yeah. Like this right here. Throws it over her back.
To get her
Puts it in
money.
her guitar case and she carried it in.
In the mornings
Yeah.
when nobody's there.
What kind of guitar you got? Hondos.
So who owns the stage?
Rubel Sanderson.
Yeah.
He's him and his wife Brenda Sanderson. She's big in Nashville politics now. Brenda is.
But have they owned it forever?
What's their son's name that runs that place?
Her son.
Or their son or something?
What is? I can't think. Of his
I
name.
blanked out too.
Yeah, I have to. But anyway, they own the stage and they own the second fiddle, and then they owned a bar across the street that they've sold out to some of those other big wheels over. Like I think it's the Hank Jr. bar now. They actually owned that bar and sold that
do.
one out. Yeah,
It's a pretty busy. That stage can be pretty busy.
stage is busy.
Brad.
Brad Sanderson. Yeah,
Brad
yeah,
Sanderson.
yeah. They're all. See, we're all.
I haven't talked to Brad in a long
We're
time.
all. Brad's probably not ever there anymore, but we're all
No.
original people down
No,
there.
but I used to like if I had some people coming to town, I'd call Brad. He would,
Oh, he's a good guy.
yeah, he'd make me look good. 'Cause I would never go down there. I'd be like, just go up there and ask for the redheaded guy or whatever, And then oh man, they wheeled us right in here and handed us a shot of, probably some kerosene or something. But man, but man, we're in here. You come down here? I'm like, yeah, I may be there in a little while. I ain't
Don't keep
going
drinking. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I guess what I see with Nashville, they could outprice themselves. The buildings cost so much to put a restaurant in or to put a bar in, or that would definitely. And I'm not trying to. I went to Keith's driving this guy that just opened the Zuzu place there across from the Sin, a badass sushi spot. It's gonna be killer.
It's so good.
DJ in there, 2 drinks and an appetizer, $100.
Whoa!
2 drinks and an appetizer, $100.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be that place. We'll see how he does. They're lined up to get in there.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh, I went to I took a date to, it's called Sushi Bar. I mean, but it's like there's 6 of them all over the United States. You go in there and you sit this thing kind of like hibachi style, but the guy's sitting up there telling you where the fish was caught, when it's caught, which I'm into that stuff. And it is so cool and so good because I love sushi. But it's like I should be more frugal than I am. Or you get that tab at the end of the night, you're like, whoa. Man, yeah. I mean, that's the new norm. I'm talking. Yeah. Hey, I'll just say this:
but it's Miami prices, Scott. That's what I'm saying about Nashville. Man, you got, you're trying to cater to to a population that's country, and then man, you got to come down here and it's $500 to stay at the Hyatt.
Oh yeah.
Man, you start eating at Pancake Pantry. There's your $200 breakfast, and you start bouncing out on Broadway at. Buddy's affordable $7 a beer. Yeah. But you go to these other places, it's $9 a beer and some mixed drinks.
And you start doing your math, you're like, damn, I could have went to Maui.
That's what I'm saying is like that would be. I mean, I think crime being the number one, if they keep the crime out, and then 2, if they just don't outprice themselves, but you got these other bar owners coming in paying $30 million. You gotta sell them for a premium, right?
By the way,
these are free for Buddy.
By the way, Zuzu's legit. I'm a foodie, man.
And that guy, that guy's from Detroit. So Keith's been driving in.
I just went.
And they got a place in Fort Lauderdale Airport. Zuzu's. I mean, the guy's got like 30 stops, but man, you talking about?
Hey, so yeah, that place very similar. I went down there and like I love good food, and me and girl I'm seeing, we go in there and we, hey, you should do the sake flight. Well, next thing you know, it's like, you don't ask like, well, how much is it? You don't want to be that guy. Yeah. And man, you get your tab and you're like, baby, did you have fun? Yeah, did you have fun? I went, yeah. I'm like, holy shit.
What'd you spend?
Yeah. Oh man, it's a lot.
That's why I tell people.
You can't do that the rest of the month.
It's $1,000. If you go down there and drink, but it's
not me.
Before you sit down, it's $300 a piece, and then
that's what I would say. 5 years ago was $100 a man to go eat and have 1 or 2 drinks at dinner.
Probably
$100 a man. It's $150 a man now.
Now I only go there once a week. I'm kidding.
And Terry's a dad, so he got plenty of money.
Your daddy's pays you more than
I write on the back of the receipt. I was with Keith Urban.
Your daddy pays you more.
She was super hot.
Next guest, by the way,
man,
Keith Urban.
He texted me today, and he's like, "Man, you want to do this today?" And I went, "Man, we can't do it today, Keith. We got Buddy Messer on." He goes, "All right."
He said, "Who the hell's Buddy Messer?"
I'm kidding. I don't know.
Keith Urban. Told him none of your damn business.
No, in a text when they said you're coming on, I went, "Oh shit, I gotta call Brad Pitt and tell him we overbooked. And we'll catch him next week." That's what I said on the text.
Oh man, Buddy, I'm telling you, great to hang out with you.
Yeah, so cool.
It's awesome, and hey, you're welcome anytime.
I knew it.
Brother, I'll see if I can't get Layla in here.
I'll be awesome, and like I said, breaking down Broadway, and hopefully, one day we'll get it off the ground, and maybe we'll have our bus in front of your bar one night. We'll have them get a beer and talk about it, Whiskey Bent on Tuesday at 6:00.
I can do better. Maybe on the second floor up there we can do it in the daytime.
That would be awesome.
That'd be so cool. Can we get some $6 beers instead of $7?
Oh yeah, up there we can. Yeah. you guys.
I think we just bring our own.
For you guys.
Hey, by that
I
time,
know.
We'll put an armband
Put
on
on
the
best
fork and
seat
we'll
at
get the
half
discount.
price. I'll sell it to you half price.
I figure by that time we'll be sponsored by Miller Lite. We'll be
Hey,
sponsored by
get
Miller
him
Lite.
drunk. Be like, how much you paying a beer for these? Like 87.
See, nothing's
I'm
going
still
on in the
hosing.
daytime up there during the week, but on Fridays we got stuff going on. Maybe not till later on in the evening, but third. I don't know,
asleep
how many
by then.
days? How many days a week you want to do this?
Well, we're just trying to do one a week right now.
One a week.
That would be cool. That'd be super cool.
Oh yeah, it'd
Right
be
over,
awesome.
right over Broadway.
Be awesome.
We
Yeah.
we could get people to come down. That
Oh
way,
yeah, you
too.
get people to do
Oh,
that.
They're
Yeah.
not gonna come to this shitty studio.
Yeah, I mean, hey, shout out James Harper, Fairway Mortgage. This is called the Emerald Room. I'm supposed to give a shout out, buddy. That's
All
all.
right, that's
it is.
cool.
Oh, also shout out Miller Lite for not endorsing us, but you should.
And hey, Whiskey Bent. If you
Whiskey
hit-
Bent.
yeah.
if you
Whiskey
come to
Bent.
Nashville.
Go to Whiskey Bent.
Come to Nashville. Never been to Whiskey Bent. We recommend it. Tell Buddy Messer said bye. Shout
Go,
on him.
go up there to the bartenders, the real pretty blonde headed ones, say you know Scott Cologne, and they ain't gonna give you shit for free.
Love you, buddy.
Love you
Love you,
guys.
buddy.
Man,
Love
good to see
guys.
you. See
All
you
right, good to
guys.
see you.